All right, everybody, welcome to the Mangalorian, the series where myself, Danny from Geekdom 101, and Jordan, the Dragon Lee over here, take a deep look, delving back into Toriyama's masterwork, the original Dragon Ball manga, all the way from beginning to end, from the beginning where Goku meets Bulma, Volume 1, Chapter 1, all the way to the end, which is, of course, Goku and Oob, where he's the grandfather. Now, we happen to be doing this stream on a very special day because in just a few hours, in Japan, it'll be November 20th. And in case you don't know, November 20th is the day, not just the day I closed on my home in 2018. November 20th, 40 years ago, is Chapter 1 of Dragon Ball was published. The birthday is on the 20th, but because Japan is ahead of us in the time zones, it's going to be November 20th over there in just a few minutes, or about an hour, I think, a couple hours. So
it's also the day before my birthday.
Huh?
It's also the day before my birthday.
Today or tomorrow?
The 21st is my birthday.
Happy birthday, bro. I think Sean Schemmel's birthday is also the 21st, actually. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, well, it's just kind of wild, the timing of everything. And then here you go, like you as well. You know, I don't know what it is about Scorpios. And I'm not an astrology guy. I'm not, but two of my exes were Scorpios. An old best friend of mine was my dad. I'm like surrounded by people born in October and November. I don't know what it is. But Zach Man says it's already the 20th in Australia. So it's probably, it's already the 20th. Actually, I didn't even realize that. I thought we were already behind. Okay, well, yes, today is the anniversary of Dragon Ball then. So appropriately so, we are going to dive into the manga. Now, we're knee deep in the Saiyan Saga, and we've already seen casualties. It feels like by the time Toriyama got to this part, because what do you think about, you're gonna answer that? Or you're gonna keep it a secret? Yes, indeed. I got 7 years on you, bro. But 7 is the number of God. No, that's not. That was not from Dragon Ball. That's somebody we know. But I feel like by the time we got to this part of the story, remember, the Saiyan Saga is not the first arc. It's like the 7th arc, 8th arc. By the time we got to this part of the story, Toriyama was just like, I think we have to raise the stakes a bit. And that's why I think that we're seeing people starting to get trounced. Like now we're going to really see more casualties.
Yeah, I remember whenever I first saw this part animated, because I saw this animated. I didn't see this in the manga first.
Me too.
I was like, whoa, like just completely mind blown, because everybody had already been wished back during the Piccolo stuff. So this was an insane experience back in that day.
Yeah, no, I mean, it feels like now when we look at in context, if we go back to 1989, if we go back to the late 80s, Toriyama had already been writing this thing for almost 4 years, about 4 years, 4.5. And I think he just said, we're going to have to really I can't be afraid to kill off characters. And, it's just kind of funny how there's that infamous meme that was around a few years ago of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, who's like, I don't want to kill so many wonderful characters. And then there's a picture of George R.R. Martin with a smile on his face saying, let me show you how it's done. Because, of course, Game of Thrones is notorious for killing off main characters all the time. That's difference true. Is that in Dragon Ball, Toriyama skirts the line in the middle. He, at this point, was not afraid to kill off beloved characters because, believe it or not, people who only saw Z aren't going to get this. Ten Shinhan and Yamcha and Chaozu were beloved. Maybe not Chaozu, but the other two were beloved characters. But Toriyama would bring them back. It's just that after this arc, their relevance really died down.
That's true.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Justin, thank you for the generous super chat as always, my friend. He says Goku's running like he's the Flash on that cover. Yes, that is very reminiscent of the Flash.
Yeah,
Begin,
that's a
yeah, with
great observation.
the sprint, the full sprint, not with the arms out like Arale. The Naruto run. No, buddy, that was Arale first. If it wasn't for Toriyama, bro, Kishimoto would be selling sushi somewhere in Okinawa. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get mad, Naruto fans. It's true. You should be thanking Sensei Toriyama for putting food on the plate for all these guys to eat, including Oda. Chapter 219, 3 hours. So this infamous shot, remember in the dub, Goku, why aren't you here? That's pretty
Yeah,
accurate translation. Yeah.
that was a great
And
impression too.
yeah, because Terry Clayson was great. At this point, it seems like there's just no hope because Nappa survived Chaozu's self-destruct. And not only did he survive, his armor's been damaged, but he hasn't even lost. He's a little bit scuffed up, but nothing, like no damage almost.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be an absolute tank, and Toriyama does a good job making him look like a tank, which I think adds relevance to what happens to him later as well, whenever Goku and Vegeta get their hands on him, you know? Because at this point,
Toriyama,
at this point, he's untouchable, and then here in a few minutes, he's fodder. So, you know.
well, you and I were talking about like Cobra Kai before we went on live. We're not going to go into Cobra Kai on this stream because not everybody's seen the recent episodes. But Cobra Kai is borrowing a formula that has been used by Toriyama, and even before then, pro wrestling has used it. Storytelling has used it, which is you build up your villain. You can't have a villain who isn't a threat. Because if you don't create a villain that's scary, the audience is not going to feel the satisfaction of the hero overthrowing the villain. It's not going to mean anything. So you have to have a scary villain. Darth Vader, the Frankenstein monster, Jason Voorhees, every single horror villain. You have to have a villain that seems invincible, not always is invincible, but seems invincible for it to matter when the good guy overthrows him. So in this case, Toriyama's writing this to get a bit more personal because Goku has made friends with these people. It's no longer just, a villain comes in and wipes out a city or kills a village. This is all sad shit that's going to get heat with the audience, but it's not going to connect with Goku like having all these people die. We saw Roshi and Krillin die in the Piccolo arc. Toriyama used that well there. Here we're seeing everybody else die.
Yeah.
Justin says, I see Mr. Not So Clean over there has already cut down most of the main cast. Not most, but we're getting there. So Tenshin Han keels over. He's pretty finished because he used he used the Kikoho, which wasn't properly explained. Again, this is what happens if you watch Z before Dragon Ball. And if you watch Z before Dragon Ball, it's okay as long as you see Dragon Ball. But if you only see Z or if you only see the dub, you're missing context. The Kikoho, the Tri-Beam, the Kikoho is an insanely powerful tool. It's one of the strongest attacks in the series, even stronger than the Kamehameha, because it takes your life energy to use. And that's why he died. He put everything into it and just couldn't take any more for revenge, and he wound up dying.
Yeah. I mean, missing Dragon Ball would definitely prevent you from understanding that context. But if you think about like what she is, and like, the fact that it is like composed of life force, it does kind of make sense on its face that he would use so much energy that it would kill him, It
was supposed to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I mean, I think a lot of people could miss context if they didn't get the actual explanation of the technique, but I think it is kind of straightforward in the sense that, he is using his life energy. So
yeah, it's just that the technique was built up in Dragon Ball when he did it on Goku in 22nd Tournament as being this technique that risks your life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we're seeing it. So there's explanations already in the series. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
want to say I'm not dissing on One Piece. Obviously, I'm just saying Toriyama put. If you don't believe me, ask Oda. Oda's comments about Toriyama earlier this year when he passed away were really, really moving to me. They were really, really moving, because that was like his almost like his grandfather when it came to manga, even though he wasn't that much older than him, you know. So moving on here, now Piccolo and Krillin are trying to figure out just what the hell they're going to do, because this is pretty scary. And Piccolo's over here. I never dreamed that someone could possess such power. He far outclasses the Saiyan who came before him, which is Raditz, but we already knew that. You know, and then Kami's over here trying to figure out where the hell Goku is. And then here's the foreshadowing. Yes, Piccolo's about to die. Now, how do you think Kami knows that? Because it's never been established that Kami or any Namekian can see into the future. Is it just a premonition? Is it a gut feeling? How do you explain?
I think it's the same reason that he disappears when Piccolo actually does die, is that he can feel the life energy of Piccolo himself. Like whenever Piccolo's life energy starts to dwindle, Kami's does as well. So he's just that's part of the reason why you see him sweating there, because he's actually experiencing the effects of Piccolo.
Yeah, but Piccolo's not dying yet, though.
Not yet.
We're not there yet.
Not yet. But Piccolo is afraid that he's getting ready to be killed. Kami is seeing the situation. Like we just said, Nappa is being built up to be an absolute tank that's unstoppable. Also, Kami has been commenting on you could call it a premonition, but I think it's more
that's what I was curious about. Or was he worried?
Well, I think that he can feel Piccolo's intentions and that he has a connection to Piccolo, and he's been talking about that pretty much the entire build up to this, because he talks about how he sees a change in Piccolo. You know, whenever Piccolo is like willing to train Gohan and stuff like that. So I think that he feels a connection to Piccolo, and he knows what Piccolo's intentions are. He also feels his fear. He also, you know what I mean? Like they have a connection. Like he feels like his life energy, like quivering in that sense and dwindling, like his confidence. Because a lot of people forget this, but your chi is like also connected to your psyche and your confidence and your ability to handle a combat situation. So Piccolo, just by being nervous and not at ease, he's losing some of that precious energy that he could have to win this fight, and Kami can feel that, you know.
I really like Toriyama's close-ups here on all these panels. They're great. Here we have, of course, Krillin and Piccolo working together, and they work pretty well together. We don't really see them work together like this too much. A little bit in the Frieza saga, but not quite like this. Who they were rivals, of course. Piccolo and Krillin had a good fight in the 23rd tournament. Let me get this super chat here from Danny Riot. He says, this is my favorite version of Vegeta. That's why I loved Majin Vegeta so much. It's like a resurgence of OG Vegeta. Well, the thing about Majin Vegeta that I like is that Vegeta wants you to think it's the old Vegeta. Vegeta wants to become this Vegeta again, but he's not. Because Goku straight up tells him, you're lying. This is not you anymore. And Vegeta later on admits that Kakarot was right. We're going to get there when we get there. And it's in the anime as well. It's not just in the manga.
And there's a narrative reason that Majin Vegeta is in Super Saiyan in that sense too. Because Super Saiyan like represents Vegeta's pure nature, like his purity. So you know, that also speaks to like what Toriyama is talking about narratively in terms of like the difference between Vegeta at that point and Vegeta here as well.
Yeah, right. And the thing is, it's and that's more of like you're going down like the metaphysical, like, you know, like the like ancient Chinese, like, you know, Taoism or whatever you want to call it. And that's all fair. But I'm just saying that, like, what I liked about Majin Vegeta is that he wasn't really evil. He did evil things to get Goku to fight him, but he really wasn't evil deep down inside, which is why there's that great scene where Majin Vegeta asked Piccolo, if I sacrifice myself, what'll happen? And then Piccolo's like, well, You're probably going to go to hell. You won't get a body. And that's what was supposed to happen, except King Yema gave him a body as backup to go fight Majin Buu. So
Yeah,
I
and
did a video.
Vegeta controlling himself through the Majin mark also kind of speaks to how he's different than the average evil villain as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Danny goes on to say we get a glimpse of the old self. Yeah, definitely that's true. One of my favorite videos I've ever done, and probably one of the best Vegeta videos on YouTube. And this is not ego. I am very proud of this video because I was the first one to cover this. There's a video on the channel called Majin Vegeta: A Deeper Look, where I go into the whole Majin Vegeta story arc, how it ties back into this Vegeta, and why things played out the way they did. Because the thing about Majin Vegeta, and this is something we're going to talk more about when we get to those chapters, is that it's a lot deeper than I think people realize. I think on the surface, people just assume that he was just back to being evil and that Babidi made him evil, because that's kind of what the visual representation is. But that's not what happened. If you have to hear the dialogue, it wasn't just they were talking shit to each other. There was a lot more going on. So let me get this Xavier post. He says, do you guys think that Nappa would have tried to tank the special beam cannon like the Destructo disc, or would he have slapped it away? I think he would have dodged it because I think he saw how much damage it did to Raditz and Goku, and I think he would have dodged it. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of.
Or he would have hit Piccolo while he was powering it up.
Yeah, that sounds more like something Nappa would do. But I don't know. It just depends on how arrogant he is at the time. I think during this fight, you remember, like, he almost gets hit with a Destructo disc because he's like arrogant, you know.
That's right. So, and Vegeta goes, Nappa, and he turns his head.
So in that
that's true.
Scenario,
that's
if
true.
it was a special beam cannon, he might have tried to tank it, you know.
Danny Rice says he didn't know I made a video like that. Yeah, there's a lot of videos I've made. I've been here 10 years, dude. And unfortunately, I can't just make the same video over and over again because as much as I would like to, I can't. But I really liked making that video because I was able to pull right from the manga. Like, I enjoyed making it because I've had to explain the Majin Vegeta thing to people, not to Danny in the chat, but like people in my average day-to-day life. So Nappa's charging at them. He comes in. Vegeta says, wait. This is where Vegeta basically says, okay, Kakarot's coming. So why don't be in a hurry. Let's wait and see what this Kakarot can really do to make things interesting. This Goku you've been shouting about, he's Kakarot, isn't he? I'm right. Like, that's right. And this is when basically Vegeta's like, you have a lot of faith in him. Why don't we wait for him and see what happens? So now Nappa's pissed off. He's like, I don't want to wait. And Vegeta's like, that's an order. Shut the fuck up and wait. And there you go. So the whole thing.
Can I tell you what I love about that?
Go for it. This is your show too.
The way I had always thought about that is it's almost like Vegeta wants the chance to humiliate a low-class Saiyan. Like, it's almost like in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, this guy's going to come here. He's going to think he has a chance to win, and I'm going to get to just completely humiliate him, and I'm really going to get to show, like, reconfirm to myself that I am the superior elite Saiyan warrior, only for Goku to show up and completely disrupt that thought process and shock him. Like, because the way I look at Vegeta at this point, especially like whenever he does finally get to talk to Goku, it's almost like in the back of his head, he enjoys like rubbing it in everyone else's face that he's like the elite Saiyan. And I think that's part of the reason that he's allowing Goku to show up, because he wants to actually like keep proving to himself, like, yeah, I am actually the superior Saiyan. Nobody is above me type thing, you know?
Highball says he considers Goku a traitor and he wants to punish him. No, maybe partially, but that's not what's going on here. Vegeta wants to fight Goku because he keeps hearing about how great he is, and his ego and his desire to fight the best, just like Goku's. They're Saiyans, but they're also martial artists at their core. Remember, prior to the whole Saiyan blood thing, this is how martial artists were in Toriyama's stories. So it's not so much that he gives a shit about Goku being a traitor, because he's not a traitor. Think about it. Goku didn't betray the Saiyans. That's not what happened. He hit his head and that's it. It's more so the fact that Vegeta wants to really see if Goku's as great as they say he is.
Yeah.
But he's also very cocky, and like Jordan said, he thinks he can just knock Goku out and just be like, this guy was a punk.
Yeah.
You know. So at this point, Goku's still on his way, and they take the 3-hour break, waiting for Goku. Now, chapter 220, a faint light. Now, at this point, they start discussing strategies, and the 3-hour time frame goes by. Now, in the anime, we've talked about how the anime added a lot of things. In the anime version, they have an extra scene where Nappa goes to fight like the military, and he destroys like battleships and fighter jets. And it's a really good scene with a lot of great animation, blows up a city just for fun, just for the fuck of it. There was also this really funny episode or scene in the episode with Yajirobe getting interviewed by the press. Do you remember that scene in the anime?
Yes, I do. That was awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty damn funny, bro, because he in both the dub and the sub, it was pretty funny.
But he does call Goku a traitor there, like Highball said, to give him some credit. But
no, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but he's not mad about it. He wants to fight him to prove that.
It's not like Vegeta has this like.
He's not upset.
Vegeta as a character doesn't have an obsession with people adhering to his royalty more so than he does people adhering to the ideology of the Saiyans themselves. So when he says that Goku's a traitor, he's more so talking about how Goku has betrayed much like how he thinks about Nappa whenever he loses, or the entire planet of the Saiyans. What he's actually talking about is the fact that he betrayed their ideas. It's not
right. Yeah, exactly. And I was not in any way saying Highball was wrong.
Yeah.
I was just saying there's more to it than that. That's all I was saying.
Sure.
All right. Gabby3006 says, do you think Saiyaman were based on pod people aliens from Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Not by design, more how they're both from plant seeds. Yes. Yes, I do. And I would love to make a video about the Saiyaman. It would get 30 views, I think. Just like how I would love to make a video about Chaozu, because, and we've talked about this, you and I, there are videos that I want to make about lesser characters and things in Dragon Ball that just people don't give a fuck about, except for like the 1%. And I happen to be in that 1%, like the little shit that's like not even important to people. And I just can't make the video because it would take too much time and I wouldn't get enough return on investment. You know, yeah. I have to be, I'm a little bit pissed off that the video that I put out yesterday didn't do better than it did, because that video, I put a lot into it. And that's an example right there. I can't, as much as I would love to do topics about things like what you just said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, people just won't click it. And I just can't make videos that don't get some clicks. I'm trying to, every video that somebody puts out, you want it to get the most views. And it's not just about money. You put in work and you want people to see it. So it's more than just that.
Well, I also enjoy teaching people about things and seeing their reaction to, you know.
Yeah, I like making people more hardcore fans.
Yeah.
But Gabby's right. I mean, that's right. That's right. Like there's nothing wrong with what they said. So chapter 220, they're calling Goku a coward. I think that might be the thumbnail I used right there, bro, for this stream. I love that image. It just pretty much encapsulates everything. So Nappa says, fuck it. It's been 3 hours. Now I'm going to kill these rats. And then Kami senses Goku. Goku arrives. He's finally made it to the end of the Serpentine Road, the Snake Way. Kaio-sama's like, that was really, really fast. Remember, it took him like months to get across the first way. But this is a new Goku.
So Megan Hassan, if you want to learn about Vegeta's growth as a martial artist, go to my channel. There's a video called Vegeta's Growth as a Martial Artist. You'll love it. So just go check it out.
It's literally called Vegeta's Growth as a Martial Artist. That's kind of funny. Yeah. The link is in the description of the stream. Justin says, what I loved about Vegeta and Nappa's dynamic is that even though Nappa is an absolute powerhouse, Vegeta is even more power than that. Brute, despite being a smaller in stature. That is, Toriyama's always done that. Arale is a little girl who is the strongest in the world. Kid Buu is the smallest and wimp and runtiest version of Buu, the most dangerous. Frieza's final form is not as scary looking as forms 2 and 3. This is something we've seen time and time again. We saw it with Kid Gohan. It's just a recurring thing that happens all the time. So I love that dynamic as well. I love that dynamic as well because it's always funny because it's sort of a subversion of expectations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Goku's back. This scene is awesome in the anime too.
Yeah, they did a good job paying homage to this in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Whenever Piccolo jumped from the tower and he caught his mask on the way, like his helmet, his soldier helmet on the way down. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was a tribute to this, but I guess it makes sense because Karin gave Goku 2 senzus.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then he got these 2 senzus, which I'm sure are going to be useful. Goku gets on the cloud because at this point the cloud is still faster than him, and he has to conserve his energy. Remember, folks, when you use Buku Jutsu and you fly, you're using up energy. Goku has to conserve every bit of energy for Vegeta and Nappa because if not, they're going to have the advantage. They've been on the ground this whole time.
And that explains why they had Goku just like ignore Kintoon in Daima, because if he took Kintoon with him to Daima to the demon realm in Daima, it would have
would it even work?
I mean, I'd say it would, but it would save him so much trouble. He wouldn't have to worry about, losing his energy whenever he flies or whatever, I would say Nimbus would probably be, or Kintoon would probably be slower, but I'd say it probably worked. But that might be why they didn't give it to him,
We've never seen, I mean, I'm not saying, we don't know if it'll work or not. I'm just saying we've never seen Kintoon used outside of planet Earth.
That's true.
For all intents and purposes, it might not even work in Namek or in space because it is a Nimbus cloud. It's a cloud that resembles our clouds. Of course, like we talked about, it's a magic cloud like it was in Journey to the West. It ain't just a cloud. So, and it's awesome. So here we have the survivors, Krillin, Vegeta, Nappa. I'm sorry, Krillin, Vegeta, Piccolo trying to take on Nappa. I love this misdirection, how Krillin goes in, then instead goes up. This is great strategy. This is great team warfare right here. I love this fight. He makes Nappa think he's going to get him while Piccolo rushes in to grab the tail, being the weakness. Gohan's supposed to blast him, but then kabam, elbow to the top of the head. Nappa laughs because Nappa worked on his tail. They're not like Raditz.
When I first saw that elbow to Piccolo's head, I thought that was the instance that Kami was talking about Piccolo dying. Like, I thought he was like, when I saw him drop it on his head, and
before that,
I was like, man, that's wild. But yeah, go ahead.
But it's awesome because Vegeta just says, "You think we'd leave our weakness untrained forever?" Which is the same thing Goku said. Raditz. This is why I was saying Vegeta and Nappa have no respect for Raditz, bro. And neither does Goku. Like, this fantasy the fandom has about Raditz. I mean, again, this is not a shot at Masako X. I love his fan fiction, but even he will tell you it's fan fiction because Goku and Vegeta just don't respect Raditz. They have no, and to be honest, they don't respect Nappa either. It ain't just Raditz. Nappa's another guy I don't respect.
That's true because Goku shows
Vegeta?
empathy. Well, Goku shows empathy towards Nappa, but yeah, Goku and Vegeta
as a fighter don't respect them.
Yeah, as a fighter, they think he's not. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. They just straight
Xavier, up. Yeah, why does it matter to them? Xavier says, I kind of wish that someone destroyed the Powerball or Vegeta's tail grew back. Would have loved to see Grade 8 Vegeta versus Final Form Frieza on Namek. Well, he probably could have, if he had his tail, yeah, he could have probably created, done the Brute Wave Blast. That would have been something, actually. That's kind of a cool idea. Why didn't Sparking Zero give us that, bro? Oh, man. They really dropped the ball on Vegeta's what ifs in Sparking Zero. Because that would have been it would have been fun to see Frieza sort of fight Grade 8 Vegeta on Namek, and then Frieza just fucking destroys him. And it would have been the first time we see, a regular sized person completely dominate a grade 8. We haven't seen that before, except until GT was Super Saiyan 4. That's when we saw it.
Yeah.
The Shenron have a subterranean lair. No, Shenron lives in the world of the dragon gods. I think we discussed that last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't remember.
Something like that.
In a previous Mangalorian, check out the archives. Chapter 221, The Cornered Mouse Bites the Cat. Wacky title. I love, again, this is some of Toriyama's coolest art, like amalgams, like just all together. Piccolo's down. Gohan is getting smashed now. And Nappa is just destroying Gohan. Gohan's now actually feeling a lot of pain for the first time. Trying to get fucking Gohan into the fight. Krillin steps in. Fucking gets a couple of good shots in on Nappa, bro. Much respect to Krillin.
Yeah.
He's using his speed here. And I like it because Krillin is really effective here doing the stick and move tactic. He hits him, he dodges. He hits him, he dodges. Great. You know what I like about this too? We're zooming through the manga, but when this was first coming out in Japan, it was a weekly manga. So if you're reading this week to week, this is like months. Like this fight is like months of
in the making.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I don't mean the making. I mean months for you to read it all, because it's like you have to wait a month for four chapters a month. You got to wait and wait. And so the Goku Vegeta fight was like a month or two after this one, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like a long ass fight. Like these fights, they might not seem that long because the anime was longer objectively, but they're still pretty long considering most comic books wouldn't do that. Do they ever state Nappa's power level? I don't remember if the series does, but I know the guidebooks do.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. Let's see. 4,000. Yeah. I think it's 4,000 is what it says here. No, it's not. 4,000. It's 4,000 before powering up. He's at 7,000. He's at 7,000.
Makes
7,000 is the number. Yeah. Krillin does the Kienzan, known as the Destructo Disc in the dub. Don't know why they called it that, but they changed everything. And he fires it. And like you said, Nappa's being arrogant. And then Vegeta senses, like, wait a minute, this is more than meets the eye. He dodges it. Nappa does. It does put a little cut on his face. And Nappa's like, that technique is not just a regular ki blast. That's a different kind of technique. And even though the Kien, and I've done an entire video on the Kienzan, so look for that video in the technique guide, the Destructo Disc. The Kienzan is not about power. It's about the way that the disc, yes, this was the first ever Kienzan, the first Destructo Disc. The way that the disc is shaped. It's like a drill. I mean, obviously it's a drill, like a saw.
Yeah.
And so even though it's not pure ki, as far as like Cell was so strong it just bounced off his neck, but Nappa wasn't so far up to that level like Cell was to where it would do that, and it would
concentrated. That's really the difference. It's
like the special beam cannon.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, these two techniques work different because it's not just regular ki, it's concentrated. That's the word I was thinking of. You nailed it. Yeah. So Nappa is about to fire back, shoots a huge blast. Krillin dodges quickly, and he's about to get him again with the other side. Then, bam, Piccolo hits Nappa from behind hard. I love it. It's 3-on-1. It's really 2-on-1, but it's 3-on-1, and it's so... I don't know. I love it because it's a different kind of fight than we've seen before in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, because they're taking advantage of each other's presence in the fight in a way that we don't get to see very often against one big opponent. I mean, we got to see some stuff similar, but not as tactical and well thought out or interesting, you know.
Toriyama probably had a lot of fun drawing this and coming up with ways of them to work together, bro. Like, I'm actually surprised he wasn't tempted to make this part a little bit longer, because they could have kept this going for a while. The cat and mouse game of like him trying to get the mice. And Nappa's the big cat. That's why the chapter has that name. And Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo are the little mice running around him. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Diego Hernandez, is Vegeta and Nappa reunion in GT how it would go? Yeah, probably. Vegeta doesn't respect him. RPT236, Sento Minzoku Saiyajin Ujida. Saiyajin Uji. That's the Prince of All Saiyans. Enigma Music says, if Krillin killed Nappa with this, would be the greatest Dragon Ball moment ever. Everett, he wrote, but it would be the greatest Krillin moment ever. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I did a video. Did I do a video about it? No, I did a video early in my career about like what if Nappa survived, but I don't think it wasn't about Krillin. Though. It was about Nappa. Okay, and then here Vegeta's laughing at Nappa. What's wrong, Nappa? Having a hard time? Because it is like 3-on-1. And he's just pissing off Nappa more and more because he's getting clowned on. And then they are sensing the power of Goku. Piccolo's the first one to sense that Goku's now on Earth. So here we go. Chapter 222, Son Goku approaches.
Finally.
Yes, finally. Piccolo is excited. Gohan's excited. And then, of course, Vegeta picks up the scouter. And then Goku has no idea what's going on. He senses only two bigger one and one small one. He's like, did someone die? Because there were a lot more people that were fighting. So he's starting to realize that, okay, I may have come too late, which is a classic Goku moment, classic Goku thing for him to do. And now Nappa's getting excited too. Like, you know, and he's like, I'm not sure if it's Kakarot, but we'll find out in about 4 minutes. So he'll be there pretty quickly. And he's like, and right here, Vegeta's like, his power level exceeds 5,000. 5,000? There's no way. It must be some kind of mistake. He's like, this kind of power is unheard of for the old Kakarot. Since these people appear capable of manipulating their own power levels, 5,000 may only be the tip of the iceberg, which is true. Vegeta already knows that this could be a little bit more difficult than they had originally thought.
Yeah.
And then Vegeta says, fuck it, kill those two now, because he realizes if Goku shows up, it'll be 4-on-2. And if Goku really is at 5,000, there's a high chance they're going to lose. And I like that. I like that a lot.
And he just talked about how they can manipulate their energy, so he's not taking the 5,000 thing too seriously. You know, he's
it could be more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this right here is what sets up the next arc already. We haven't even finished off this arc yet. We haven't even gotten to Goku arriving, and Vegeta's already teasing the next arc. I have a hunch that if we visit the Namekians' homeworld Namek, we'll find Dragon Balls even more powerful than the ones here. What about their real homeworld, the Demon Realm? Toriyama didn't know back then. I always thought it was a bogus rumor, but if Kakarot has really come back to life, then the legend must be true. Yeah, the Dragon Balls brought him back.
Yep.
Kasim says, imagine if Goku arrived on time. Well, Sparking Zero has a what if that I liked. That was the Z Fighters teaming up on the Saiyans, and I like that one.
Yeah.
And he's over here assuming that Nappa's arrogance again. There's no way Kakarot's at 5,000. Get the fuck out of here, bro. And now Gohan's like, I'm going to have to do what I can to keep them busy because it's only 4 minutes. And then Nappa's going to try and take them out now. Here comes Piccolo. Nappa's going for the killing blow. And then, bam, this is a very, very important part of Gohan's development here.
Yeah,
because this is the first time Gohan delivered a move on an enemy that wasn't Raditz. Like, this is the result of his training. It wasn't just his anger, even though his anger did have a part to play in it. That was what Jordan's been talking about now for several weeks, actually longer. We've been talking about this for a couple of years on the Sayuki episodes we've done. This is survival instinct. This is fight or flight. Gohan's like, I got to hit this guy with something or else I'm dead.
Yep.
Do you want to elaborate on it, or are we good?
No, we're good. I've talked about it a lot already.
Yeah, and again, if you're joining us for the Mangalorian, if you've read the manga, feel free to go back to the archived episodes we have here on the channel. We have Mangalorian episodes going all the way back to volume 1. And if you can read it and then sort of, you can even listen to it like a podcast. Like you could lay down and just listen to us talk about it if you've read the manga.
Yeah.
Or you can also open up your manga and follow along with us. And as we talk about stuff, you can read it, because it's probably better to follow along with us anyways. We're not going to read every panel. Like we just don't have time. The stream will be 10 hours. Too much dialogue. We read important stuff. We assume that everybody here already knows the story of Dragon Ball on a general basis. But if you haven't, you should read the manga just to kind of know how everything started. And if you want to follow along with us with your own pace, you can watch the old streams and pause it and rewind.
Now, Piccolo definitely knew what he was doing when he was teaching Gohan.
Hold on. Did we not explain this earlier? Is it odd Goku still uses Nimbus despite learning how to fly? We explained that earlier, bro. I literally said he's trying to conserve energy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Kasim said after that kick, I respected Piccolo more because I thought Gohan didn't learn anything. No, Piccolo did a great job. It's just that getting somebody to like Gohan to actively become violent under conscious circumstances where he wants to actually hurt someone is like next to impossible. Yeah, he's only
5.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, he's only 5 years old. So, but Gohan's getting there. I mean, this is the evolution of Gohan from the early part of the Z portion of the story. We're still in the early part now, through the Namek saga, through the Android saga, to eventually defeat Cell. You know, and it's little by little he climbs that wall, kind of like how Goku does prior to it.
Right.
So, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Zod on Pojo. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyways. So, Gohan's kick actually sends Nappa into a mountain. And now Nappa's pissed off. Look at the muscles popping out, the veins. He's mad because he has no respect for Gohan. He is powering up. This energy blast right here is a kill move. This is meant to kill. This is meant to kill Gohan. And boy, would that have pissed off Goku.
Yeah.
Fires it. Here comes Piccolo. Everybody knows the moment. It's the moment that changed Piccolo's course of life forever.
And that moment coming right after Gohan attacks for the first time in a fight or flight situation is very, very well done, because it's like such a poetic and well done way of expressing the effect that they had on each other. You know, like it's very well done.
It's also interesting too, because in a way it's almost like Piccolo saying, okay, he's starting to get it. If I sacrifice myself, we might have a better chance of winning with him than even with me. That's part of it, but I think it's also that by this time, as we talked about, he had grown an attachment to Gohan. He had affinity for Gohan.
It's very interesting. Well, it's very interesting because it's the middle ground between ideologies that are extremely empathetic and ideologies that are very, very unempathetic. Because whenever people normally do unempathetic things, it's because they prioritize their survival over yours. You know, they're like, well, I don't care about you. I'm more worried about myself, you know. And this is like the middle ground between those two concepts. Piccolo realizes in order for everyone to survive, like his philosophy of survival is developing in the sense that his chances of survival are actually better in this scenario in the long term, and he doesn't even realize it. And that's what's funny about it. But in his mind, he's like, everybody will survive and have a better chance if I sacrifice myself. And it's just a really cool development on Piccolo's part. And Toriyama did a great job expressing it too, without making it extremely blatant and clear, like through dialogue. Like he did a good job just showing it to you.
But I've been posting some people's comments and giving the thumbs up. This one I'm not going to give a thumbs up to, because Piccolo saying Gohan's the son he never had. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But he does care about him. Justin Sullivan says, geez, Nappa, drink some ice water and chill. Yeah, he had no chill here. He wanted to kill the kid. Chapter 223, Piccolo and Gohan. This scene is so good in the anime. Obviously, Piccolo's protecting Gohan. This would, of course, and the thing that I mentioned a minute ago about how Piccolo now has affinity for Gohan, Gohan also has affinity for Piccolo. And Nappa's like, huh? This didn't go the way I thought. There's Piccolo, who's still standing. Got to respect the balls. He tells Gohan to run. He goes down. This part's very sad, very emotional. Piccolo, why'd you save me? Didn't I tell you to run? Get out of here. Don't die. My dad will be here soon. Please don't die. I guess that fool wanted to die first. So it doesn't matter. They'll all be dead soon. Goku's already sensing there's a key that's falling. And then Kami here is starting to get like really, now he's really sweating. Yeah. Now he's really sweating. And he's like, Goku didn't make it there in time, you know. And in the anime,
it's kind of like your soul, you know, like
they
share the same life energy, so they can feel each other in that sense. It's very interesting. That's one thing I really love about the Namekians is like, you know, they divide their life energy to create more entities. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, the mother hen or whatever you want to call it. But in the anime, they did something interesting where you're seeing Kami like phasing in and out, like he's disappearing because of Piccolo's death. Yeah, and that was a really cool thing. So, and then he's like, how pathetic. Demon King Piccolo of all people protecting a little kid. It's disgraceful because if you and your dad at two must have rubbed off on me. Gohan, you're the only person who ever treated me with respect. To be honest, these last few months weren't so bad. And then there's the part where he's phasing out. But I think in
Gohan respected his teachings, and I think that's part of the reason that he was softened by Piccolo or by Gohan and Goku, because Goku found some respect in Piccolo's ideology whenever they faced Raditz together. And then Gohan, you know, he found some common ground with Piccolo whenever he was being trained by him. So I think that's part of the reason he was kind of softened, despite the fact he's like a hard individual who was very, very evil. Just the idea that somebody would take what he had to say or what he thought seriously, I think really had a huge impact on him.
Right. And in the anime, they showed Kami phasing in and out, but in the manga, he just phases out. And then Popo says, Kami-sama. In the Ocean dub, I remember Popo says Kami-san. And that's like the only time I ever remember them using the word san, the Japanese san suffix. He says, Kami-san. Did they even know what they were doing? Like, that was a very weird choice. And now Gohan's pissed. He screams. Vegeta Scouter, and yeah, you know where this is going. Vegeta Scouter trickles on. This is Gohan's Masenko, the technique he learned from Piccolo. Even though I don't remember Piccolo ever doing it before this. Nappa's like, huh? And then he's like, power level 2800. Like, I thought these guys can jack up their ki. And then Krillin's like, what? 2800? Nappa says that. He fires the Masenko, the very first one. Nappa straight up punches it away. Right.
Yeah, that would have wiped out Raditz.
Yes, that would have killed Raditz dead. And then even Nappa saying, oh, my arm stings a little bit. It's you know, and that's awesome right there. For a little brat, you pack a punch. His power level dropped dramatically. It appears the kid put everything he had into that single attack, which he did, but Vegeta didn't know what else he had. Which is the same thing that same mistake that Cell made when it came to Gohan, is that they don't know what else they have. Yeah. Like he didn't know what else he had in the tank, you know. We got a couple of super chats here. Mr. Not So Clean gets rid of the Saiyan race's toughest stains, whole cities, a triceps left arm, and even big green men. Hint, hint.
He is Mr. Clean in that sense. That's true.
Yeah, he is in that sense. Xavier says, if Goku and Yajirobe were there on time, wouldn't the outcome be worse, or the future events would be worse for them?
Now you're thinking. Hypothetically, yes. But the power of the pen is undeniable, you know.
But he's right. One of the things that When I used to have talks with Quinn about what ifs many years ago, we talk about how the vast majority of what if ideas would actually end up being worse for the characters long term. Maybe
Yeah.
not short term. Maybe if Vegeta died in this arc and never went to Namek, it would have been better for them short term. However, without Vegeta on Namek, Frieza would have easily killed Gohan and Krillin before Goku even got there. So there's
Yep.
always things about the story that what ifs, most of the what ifs, unless you're doing just straight up pure fan fiction where you're introducing forms that don't exist or giving Vegeta Super Saiyan early or something like that, yes, most what ifs, most, not all, most what if
Realistically.
stories end
Yeah.
up, yeah, from the way Quinn does what ifs, because the way Quaman does what ifs is different than like Masako and some of these other guys like Smug. Masako and Smug do more like the fan fiction-y what ifs. Quinn keeps it more like situational what ifs, like what would happen if this was this, if that
Yeah,
was
that's
that.
interesting.
So yeah. It's not like he doesn't go too far off the deep end. Justin Sullivan says, but in all honesty, Piccolo's death is definitely one of those top 3 saddest moments in the franchise, and after such a strong redemption arc, too. Well, this was the redemption arc. Piccolo's death was the redemption arc.
Yep.
That was the redemption arc. This is sort of the closing of the redemption arc. Just like how Majin Vegeta's sacrifice sort of was almost the end of Vegeta's redemption, but really it ended when he said Goku was number 1.
Yeah.
Enigma Music, do you think Goku would go Super Saiyan if Gohan was killed? Possibly, but I don't know that for sure. Again, that's one of those what ifs that you see some of these other
I don't
guys
think
doing.
so.
I don't think his body was ready for it.
Yeah, Toriyama seems to suggest that a certain amount of battle power is necessary, and they kind of
Training.
in their own way suggest that when Goku shows up on Namek and Vegeta's like, wait a minute, he's a Super Saiyan. Like when Vegeta mistakes him for a Super Saiyan, it's almost like narratively they're telling you that that's the level you have to be at before you can become a Super Saiyan.
And Vegeta wasn't there at that point yet, and neither was Goku in this arc.
Yeah.
So, and then that goes back to what I said about the different types of what ifs. When you've got a what if that's more grounded in the lore of the story, like the ones that Quinn does, you're not going to see that kind of shit too often. But some of the other guys that do what ifs, they do it more like, well, we can just rewrite our own story in a different branch, kind of like what Sparking Zero does. So I'm not bashing either way. It's just two different ways to do videos. I don't really do that many what ifs. I've done a couple of them. So I mean that's how it is. I don't think he would have though. But again, there's people who do. I don't know why anybody else is live right now, bro. I can't be worried, Bob. I can't be worried about. I can't watch somebody else's stream when me and Jordan are live, brother. I'm sorry. All right, so power level dropped dramatically. All right, Piccolo-san, I'm sorry I wasn't able to do it. And then this whole thing. And then this is the part where in the Ocean dub he says, "I've got a soft spot in the bottom of my boot for you," which I thought was a great line. He's literally, I think here Nappa was going to crush Gohan's skull. Would he have done it? I don't know, but guess what? I did the sound effect.
So I watched this part animated with my son. I think like a week ago, maybe something like that. And he looked at me and he was like, "That is so cool." That was the first time I had seen like that look in his eye of like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like,
was it really that recent?
Yeah, like a week ago.
So here we have Gohan with little, like the little sound effect for like the little sound effect for the Nimbus cloud or whatever. I can't really do the sound effect live right now. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
It would be a hard sound effect to replicate, but that was a great attempt.
Yeah, it's the keen tone sound effect. What the hell is this? And then here it's when they play Chala Head Chala in the anime, the jingle. Dun, 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 dun. See, I just remember the anime so well because of the music and everything. It is a tremendous, tremendous hero moment. He comes down from the skies. And I like how the ketones what saves Gohan. It's beautiful, dude. It's about time you arrived. And then we have Goku with his very, very serious face. Nakatsuru did a phenomenal job adapting this to the anime when we got there. And then chapter 224, Son Goku's Quiet Anger. Here we have Goku with pictures of those who have died in the battle that he knew prior to him arriving. Great full panel of Goku. We're about to get the level turned up a notch now. And then Vegeta's like, "What are you doing here? You're not here to make some kind of ridiculous speech about defeating us, are you?" You know, classic. And he's checking on Piccolo. You know, he died trying to protect me. The body of Tenshinhan, all that was cut from the Ocean dub. Yamcha, and don't worry, there's no need to grieve. You're about to get a reunion. And here you've gone through all the trouble of coming back to life. Don't tell me you're surprised. I read it left to right when I should have read it right to left. I'm sorry. You're surprised to see these loser friends of yours. And then he's like, Chaozu and Kami. He just saw Kami a few minutes ago. Don't forget, he just saw Kami a few minutes ago. Like, that's kind of a wild thing that he just saw his ass, bro.
What I find great about this scene, and this is something a lot of people don't catch on to, is the fact that it follows Piccolo and Gohan. Because this is the first time that Gohan has really got to see his dad be on top of a situation. And his dad in this situation is a really good example of what Gohan needs to do in the future. Because Goku is essentially using all of his friends dying and the effect that has on his emotions as motivation to do more damage to Nappa. And that's something else that like Gohan would implement later on in the series. So I just think that's really cool. Like every time he hits Nappa, he's thinking about his friends. You know what I mean? And it's just
that's coming. Yeah, that's coming up because we're about to see that. So Nappa tries to punch Goku. Goku, he missed him completely. And he's over here basically going to talk to Gohan and he's giving them like the speech and, you know, here's the Senzu, you know, kind of trying to help them out. Krillin recovers with a piece of one. And this is the part where Goku kind of looks at Gohan for the first time in a year, gives him props for training. And then this is the part where Krillin's like, yeah, if we all work together, Goku's like, nah, I'll do it on my own. No, you can't. He's too strong. Nah, I'll be all right. Like, you know. And then they're talking about how the Dragon Balls are gone and we can't wish anybody back to life, which is true, but we already got the teaser for the next arc. I think it's best if I fight them by myself. You two lead and don't get hurt.
What Vegeta said. It's got the cogs turning in his head too.
Right. And Goku's taking this very seriously, but he is going to be the one to step up. And it's just wild, the confidence. That's the thing about Goku, man. We saw it in Daima episode 5 and 6. The incredible amount of confidence Goku has. You know, Vegeta's always seemed more cocky. Goku's always seemed more confident. But there have been times where Goku has been cocky, and look what happened to him in Battle of Gods when Beerus smacked him down. You know, Goku himself has his moments of cockiness. There's even, of course, the line where he thought he can go Super Saiyan 3 to beat Kid Buu, then he couldn't achieve the form with his human body, with his mortal body. So, what do you want me to tell you? And then here's Goku stepping up. You're going to pay for this, you bastard. This is the over 8,000 scene in the manga, just done in the manga with a little swirly background of Goku.
First time we see Goku that jacked.
Yeah, he's very, yeah, we're going to see him more jacked when we see Kaio-ken. Here he is with the rocks going up. And this is the part right here. In the anime, it was so well done. Another great Nakatsuru scene. And then this is where Vegeta says, power level 8,000. I can't believe it. And then, what? 8,000? That's got to be a mistake.
And we know what that means because Nappa's 7,000. So he's like literally like right above him. Maybe probably on purpose.
It's over 8,000. That's the part right there.
Yep.
And Vegeta just crushes the scouter like, this is useless. This is useless. And Goku says, don't worry, I doubt I'll even have to use the Kaio-ken. And then he's like, the Kaio-ken? I'm actually surprised that Vegeta didn't. Why do you think Vegeta never thought it'd be a smart thing to learn the Kaio-ken himself?
because Vegeta, which we're going to get into here in a few seconds, does not understand the benefit of spiritual cultivation or like increasing your chi. Like he
Well, I
doesn't.
guess he did later, right?
Yeah, he doesn't understand the the implications of that. He thinks that everything is centered around biology, which is why he thinks that he's superior to Goku, and that's an inherent theme in Dragon Ball that they play on from this point in the series on.
Yes.
Most characters that Goku faces are like superior in terms of genetics or biological evolution, but he is superior to them in spiritual evolution. So one of the underlying themes of the series is spiritual evolution facing off against biological evolution, and that's kind of
Correct.
what we're playing on with Vegeta and Goku right
And
now.
Highball is right because he doesn't like to use Goku's technique. That is true. That is true. And that's why, like, even in the Themora arc, when he learned instantaneous movement, he's like, yeah, but I don't like using your techniques. It's kind of dumb because by that point, it shouldn't even matter. But whatever. By that point, it's not even the same Vegeta anymore.
Yeah.
So here comes Nappa, this giant, brutal monster coming after Goku. And he doesn't get shit. Goku gets behind him, kicks him down. Vegeta's shocked. Oh, God, the art. The art. Like every single panel here could be like cut out and printed and like put on a wall, and it would look great. Xavier asks, do you guys prefer Koyama, Naho? I think you mean Naho Ishii or Toyotaro. Koyama's not really an artist. Koyama's a writer. So unless you mean as a writer, okay. I think you mean as a writer. See, it's different. Okay, I can't put Koyama in there because Koyama wrote the Dragon Ball Z anime and the movies. Naho Oishi and Toyotaro did manga, and it's not the same kind of writing. But I think
I like Totaro.
I like. See, I think Naho Oishi is a better artist, but Koyama wrote good stuff, but he also wrote shit. I guess for me, Naho Oishi wins because she's written less shit. I guess that's all I can think of. It's a very difficult question to answer because Koyama has written shit and so has Toyotaro. So, chapter 225, Nappa, completely helpless. I'll make you regret that. Goku's like, you're kind of a bitch. In the animes, when he said, this is for Chaozu, this is for that. Well, I think he might say it here too, but I don't remember. He powers up, Nappa does. He's attacking Goku. Goku's dodging everything. Again, phenomenal work here at the art. Look at the paneling, bro. Toriyama uses a whole side panel to turn Nappa sideways to really show us how big the guy is, how much bigger he is than Goku. And Goku's too fast for him. Goku's basically letting him tire himself out without even counterattacking. This is the part right here where he counterattacks. He basically tricks Nappa by standing on top of his head. Nappa puts his arms up, which leaves his body open. Kabam! That one was for Chaozu. And then he goes for a kick. Bam! That was for Yamcha. He comes back, fires a ki blast, and he's like, I don't even need to dodge this, which is Goku's just fucking, he eats it. It doesn't even lose his fucking shirt. Goku's shirt didn't even get ripped from that. He put so much energy into it. He canceled out with a ki shout. What the? Yeah. And this one's for Ten Shinhan. Double axe to the back. Nappa goes down. And this is for Piccolo. And he kicks Nappa away into a mountain. And that's fucking it, bro. Nappa has been humbled. I love this Goku
is
so
karma.
much. He that training with Kaio-sama and all the gravity shit he did and dying and all that, all those things factored in. I am a member of an elite warrior class. I won't be made a fool of by some low-ranked amateur like you. And even Vegeta says, Nappa, get a hold of yourself. He's starting to get under your skin. Calm down, use your head. And you'll realize he's not unbeatable. Telling him, like, dude, you're letting your anger take over. Because Nappa's being too aggressive here. And he's like, yeah, I gotta calm down. And this is where Vegeta is always like, yeah, this guy's an idiot. Next chapter is the mystery of the Kaio-ken. Don't know why Bulma's on the cover there. She's not even, that has no relevance here. Even though in the anime they showed her.
Yeah.
Is it true you made all the blood rush to my head? From now on, I'll show you what I can really do. And he's like, yeah, that's more like it. Let's he's like, let's see what you got. And then Vegeta's like, yeah, he's pretty confident. This is Nappa's big move. We saw him use to destroy a city. He hits Goku with it. Goku moves out of the way. He goes up to the air. Nappa tries to attack him. He can't connect. Goku hits him with a kick. Nappa's back here. And he's like, okay, now you're really trying. Goku's like, now I'm having some fun finally. And then he tries to fire a big mouth blast at Goku, which looks awesome here. Goku quickly sees it, fires a Kamehameha in reverse because that mouth blast was stronger than Nappa's other blast. And it was very quickly. He's a struck back was so quickly at point blank range. I love this fight, bro. This is such a great fight. And he's like, wow, if I took that head on, I'd be in trouble. So even he knows, like, okay, Nappa's not all that Nappa is more than people. Nappa is more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Impossible. That was my best technique. You just brushed it aside. You really are tough. The Kamehameha should have at least done a little damage. This might take a while. That's enough, Nappa. You're getting us nowhere. I'll finish him myself. Don't give me that look. Vegeta's like, I'll step in. You're not going to do it. And he's like, no. And he's like, all right. Making me surrender to you to Vegeta. And he's like, all right. And he's like, I'll just go down. And then he decides to go after Goku's friend and his son. Come on, man. Come on.
Worst thing he could have possibly done.
And then Goku realizes he's not going to make it in time with his regular speed and with his regular energy. So he taps into the Kaio-ken for the first time. We see his body surrounded in a fiery aura. The double punch to Nappa's back. Remember, that increases all of your senses and your power. Vegeta's like, what the fuck? He goes up from behind him, picks up Nappa. Probably broke his back here.
He did.
He either broke his back or he at least gave him like a stinger because Nappa can't move after this.
Yeah.
Goku holds him up in a classic hero shot, throws him down, like, get that piece of shit out of here, bro. That's what he basically tells him without really saying it. He won't be fighting anymore. Leave the earth and take him with you. And Vegeta's like, wait a minute. His power just multiplied for like a second. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes, there are many iconic panels. Chapter 27, The Emperor Stirs. I don't know. Vegeta wasn't really an emperor. He was a prince, but, you know. We got a couple super chats here to get to. Hold on. After everything Nappa had done to the Dragon Team, it's satisfying seeing Goku give the dick a taste of his own medicine. That's what we were talking about earlier. You build up the villains to have the payoff matter. Nature versus RPG, nature versus nurture. However, Vegeta is still the strongest during this point. However, meeting Goku definitely changed his perspective on power. Yes, Vegeta and Goku have always been nature versus nurture. And slowly, as Vegeta's character evolved throughout Dragon Ball and into Super, he started to realize it, which is why he took his training more and more seriously as the series progressed. You can see this with Vegeta. He takes it more and more seriously. So I always thought that was a great point Toriyama was making. That even if you're being told you're great, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't come along and be greater than you.
Yeah, I kind of see it as a hybrid of nature and nurture on both ends of the spectrum, though, because, you know, Goku is sort of pushing Vegeta to nurture himself.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He takes it more seriously.
And Goku, he is still implementing his nature in the sense that he has a different nature than Vegeta doing to be raised on Earth. So there's like a balance there between both nature and nurture between both different characters, which I think is awesome.
Yes. Justin then says, fun fact, this fight marked Goku's earliest win in the Z era. Yeah, it is because he only fought one other time in the manga, and that would be Raditz in the Z era. So this is one of Goku's many wins in the Z era. Vegeta has never heard of this Kaio-ken, doesn't know what the hell's going on, doesn't understand how Goku was able to multiply his power that fast. What a great idea, bro. Kaio-ken in and of itself was a great idea from Toriyama.
Yeah.
And then Goku explained it's the Kaio-ken. By controlling all of the ki in your body, you can amplify it momentarily. If you do it right, your power, speed, and your destructive and defensive force multiply several times over. Also, his senses multiply too. So his vision, his hearing, all of it goes up. It's almost like being stoned.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Next time I get stoned, I'm gonna do the Kaio-ken.
Kaio-ken, yeah.
And then Vegeta's like, "Oh, I want to hear what he's saying," but he doesn't have Namekian ears. And then he's like, he's usually from the start. Then Goku's like, "No, if I don't control it just right when I'm throttling my energy, I could really mess myself up," which we do see later in the series. And then this is kind of a flashback here, which is Kaio-sama explaining to Goku the dangers of the Kaio-ken and how much of a stress it puts on your body.
This is an interesting thing that you don't see Toriyama do very often. He used a rounded edge on the panels to tell you that the panels were flashbacks rather than the squared off edges. Like that's how you tell between the two.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Supreme King says, step 1 to the journey to UI. Wrong. That is wrong. I did a whole video on this channel called Goku's Journey to Ultra Instinct. This is far from the first to UI. Far from it. Unless you're one of those guys that's only seen Z. In case you haven't checked, bro, this is volume 19. Far from the beginning. In fact, the Kaio-ken and Ultra Instinct aren't related that much, with the exception of
Chi. Of Chi as a
concept. Well, the fact that it was a god technique.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So here's another infamous part right here. Vegeta, poor Nappa, thinking that he actually cared. The Saiba man being killed by Vegeta should have been Nappa's first clue that Vegeta gives no fucks. I guess because Nappa's been with him since he was a kid. He's like, oh, well, he won't kill me. I'm his best buddy. Nah, bro, you're nothing to him. And I have no use for a paralyzed Saiyan. Vegeta fires a big blast and just wipes Nappa out. It's a one-shot. I mean, it's literally a one-shotted attack. His face right here is funny. Explosion. Nappa is dead. And it wasn't even at the hands of Goku. It was Vegeta basically telling everybody, yeah, Vegeta could have killed. At this point, Vegeta could have one-shotted every single Z fighter except Goku.
Basically, if you're not
every
a better
Dragon Team member,
if you are not a better example of what a Saiyan should be than Vegeta, he will not respect you. And Goku, in his own way, does that, which is why Vegeta kind of becomes infatuated with him, because he's like, man, this guy's proving things about being a Saiyan that I had never thought of before or understood. And that's part of the reason he's kind of like obsessed with Goku, because Goku kind of does like put his superiority complex in check in that way. And so, yeah, especially as a Saiyan, if you're a Saiyan, if you're not at least on his level or superior to him in terms of like, adhering to the ideologies that Vegeta finds important amongst the Saiyan race, he has no respect for you. And that's the reason he didn't care that his planet got destroyed. That's the reason he killed Nappa, because unless you fit this very specific standard, Vegeta does not care about you.
Yep, so. It's class-based. It's class-based. You are trash to him. Adam Schroeder brought up something I want to briefly get into real quick. He says Vegeta did try and help him and told him to control his anger. Correct. That is exactly what happened. Vegeta's like, calm the fuck down. All Nappa had to do was step down, let Vegeta fight Goku, and just chill. What did Nappa do? He tried to go hurt Krillin and Gohan because he was petty and wanted to get revenge on Goku and knew that he couldn't do it on his own because he's a coward. So he went after Goku's best friend and his son. And as a result of that, Goku Kaio-ken his motherfucking ass and paralyzed him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Vegeta,
bro. I'm sorry, bro,
Vegeta,
but he kind of deserved it. He kind of deserved it.
Vegeta using his ego to control his instincts is like one of the most repetitive themes for his character throughout the entire series. Like that's the reason he can kind of control himself through his anger better than Nappa. That's the reason he can control himself through Super Saiyan in a similar way to Goku can on Namek. That's the reason he can control that dark chi form they gave him in Super Dragon Ball Heroes and Ultra Ego and all that stuff. Is his conscious identity is that powerful. It's one of the major themes of Vegeta's characters.
Yeah, and that I like that because Nappa should have just sat on the sidelines, let Vegeta handle it, and that would have been fine. Once he was paralyzed, and actually Mecha J said they have those healing tanks, so he could have healed them and he didn't. Yeah, because he doesn't respect them, bro. Nappa was humiliated by Goku. And guess what? Vegeta wouldn't have even known about that, wouldn't have even seen the Kaioken if it wasn't for Nappa being an idiot.
Yeah.
Vegeta's the Mr. Not So Clean Magic Eraser. Damn, bro, you're going into the as seen on TV era shit right here from the 90s. Xavier Degas says, do you think Vegeta would have liked original Bardock? Not as far as power goes, because he was weak. He was beneath him.
If
And he was low class.
If Vegeta saw Bardock try to take down Frieza, yes.
He would have respected the balls.
Yeah, he would have been like, because that was the entire reason that he was disgusted with the Saiyans, is the fact that they were defeated by Frieza and they kind of just rolled over and did whatever Frieza wanted. He hated that. He always hated that. He tells Goku, he's like, the thing that I hate most about what Frieza did is the fact that he used me. I hate that. That's like the number one thing. You know what I mean? And
I can relate.
Yeah, and he feels that way about the Saiyans as a whole too. So the fact that Bardock kind of had a very strong sense of will, despite the fact that he was weak and he still tried to survive in that situation against Frieza, I think he would have more respect for him than the average Saiyan, similar to Goku. Despite the fact that Goku's weak, there's like a degree of respect there due to like what Goku is.
Wasn't Bardock said to be 10,000 power level? Yes, he was. He was still a low-class warrior, though. And Vegeta, you gotta remember, bro, Vegeta hung out with like his dad and like the royalty. So like he doesn't respect Bardock, but like Jordan said, it would be
he would have to see him stand up to Frieza for him to have any respect.
And Dodoria, even him standing up to Dodoria. I agree. Yeah. I agree with that. So these two panels, just them discussing, like, if Goku wants to fight Vegeta one-on-one, tells Krillin and Gohan to leave. And this is when Krillin first talks about how, no, wait, there's something we can do to bring them back to life. Because he was the one that took a mental note about Planet Namek. So right here, Toriyama's already got the next arc in the back of his head. He's already got it weeks before it starts. But Toriyama never planned anything. Bullshit. Yes, he was a Discovery writer, but it wasn't, and he didn't plan the end of the story at the beginning. It wasn't like that. He made it work, though, but he definitely planned things out. Maybe not a year ahead of time, but he definitely planned the next, 4 or 5 months. Yeah. Remember, this is a weekly manga. He had to write a new chapter every week.
Yeah.
So, yes, Bardock is a beast as a low class. That's why he's so popular. And then Goku's like, I have to beat him, which is all martial arts. Like it's all his own. It's his own ego and his own desire to prove to be the best. Now Vegeta and Goku face off, and they're flying away to find a remote location that's even more remote for some reason, as if that wasn't remote enough. This scene right here is, that's where it's like the Dragon Ball Z. Like, what's the scene in Dragon Ball Z that is most Dragon Ball Z? It's either Goku and Frieza or this shot right here.
That's probably the most iconic shot for Z, for the Z.
Yeah, because that or Super Saiyan Goku, because I say that because, the transformations were like a big deal at the time, but prior to that, for like the Ocean dub run, this has to be it,
Yeah, I agree.
Chapter 228, one-on-one combat. this whole thing where
Yeah, these are
Vegeta's like,
all super iconic panels.
you should
But
be
yeah,
honored
this
to
goes
face
back to what I
me.
was talking about earlier. So, like, we see examples of this throughout the entire series. Frieza is another great example of this. Frieza, like, he basically Toriyama took this theme for Vegeta and then pushed it up like way higher on the scale. That's the reason that Frieza can survive in space. That's the reason that he looks down on the Saiyans as a lower species, because one of the underlying themes of this series is spiritual development, spiritual cultivation, the cultivation of your chi, facing off against beings that are born naturally more powerful due to biological evolution. It's like a really huge theme in Dragon Ball. It really is.
Yes, and this also would begin, like, this would be the beginning of the rivalry. Like, the reason why I say this is like Dragon Ball Z encompassed is because this is like the beginning of the rivalry between these two that would go on for the entirety of the original Dragon Ball Z portion until the very end. So, and it would, of course, be talked about and discussed and play into stuff like GT and Super and even Daima now with we see Goku and Vegeta in the opening of Daima like fighting each other and then doing rock paper scissors like this, this is just the Goku Vegeta rivalry is almost like the backbone of these two characters in this part of the show
They're yin and
or,
yang.
or
The,
series.
the thought that the thought that Toriyama put into who Vegeta was as a character, how he was characterized, and what exactly he is unbelievably, like, it's just extremely creative. Because if you were writing a martial arts themed manga and you were trying to like create a character that encapsulates all of the character traits that you're not supposed to have as a martial artist, Vegeta is it. Like, he's like the perfect example of that. Very similar to the Crane Hermit, like we talked about way back during OG Dragon Ball. It's like he's following in on that theme of like creating an anti martial arts character, but he's doing it in like this new sci-fi esque way that fits the Z era more.
Somebody in the chat says, I want you to see if you want to talk about this. Sun Wukong versus six-eared Mop. I can't pronounce that, bro.
Macaque, yeah,
Macaque. What is
Yeah,
that
that's
about?
all this is. That's all this is. The six-eared
Okay,
macaque. The six-eared macaque is a representation of Sun Wukong's identity, his ego, like who he is as a person, and he has to defeat him and hypothetically experience an ego death before he can find enlightenment. And that's the reason that Vegeta being a Saiyan, not only being a Saiyan, but Vegeta as a Saiyan having the antithesis of Goku's ideology is so important, because Goku is facing what he could have been, essentially. What he could have been if he did what the other Saiyans did, embraced their identity as Saiyans, took their pride as a species too far, things of that nature. Like, it is really the same thing. It's
yep.
very
And this was great. Yes, Justin, Justin's right with what he said right here. Goku versus Piccolo was like the blueprint to these fights. I said that on my Twitch stream multiple times. That is the blueprint. We even said it here. This is now Goku facing off against a member of his own race. And I love how, Vegeta's talking about the aptitude test and how, I was born an elite. And then Goku says, the result I was sent to Earth, I'm grateful for that I wound up here, because he made a lot of friends. Besides, maybe an outcast can surpass an elite if he puts his mind to it. That is the theme. Goku tells him this in their first one-on-one conversation. Vegeta does not realize it until the Majin Buu saga, because Vegeta is such a fucking dense, stubborn motherfucker that he doesn't realize it, that it doesn't matter that some number said you're smarter than me, or stronger than me. I'm sorry. Because that actually goes back to in the real world, people that have high IQs and wind up fucking working at fucking Denny's and shit. When you have people who aren't that smart running businesses, just because you have a high IQ or you're born to wealth does not necessarily mean you're going to accomplish great things. And that's what Goku is saying right here. And that is the theme of the backbone of these two characters. I sent you a message on Discord. Ignore it. It's a possible video we could do that I just got the idea from this topic.
Okay.
And now Vegeta's like, I'm going to show you power that you can never break through, which is such bullshit, but that's how he feels. Here we have the stances that they would use throughout their whole life. The wind blowing and the fight begins. Goku goes in. Vegeta dodges the jab. This is already better than Jake Paul and fucking Mike Tyson, bro. These guys are alive, bro. At least these guys are alive. You know, on the server the other day, we were watching the fight, and Medios is like, come on, man. Mike Tyson kick all our asses. I go, nah, after seeing that fight, can't kick mine. I'll kick his motherfucker.
Yeah,
I would never, though.
I actually ended up sleeping through that fight because my wife was like, will you please come to bed?
Well, that's okay. So did everybody else. Everybody slept through it, bro, including Mike Tyson. So don't even worry, bro. Everybody was asleep, bro. They put a headlock on the audience, bro. So Vegeta goes for a counter punch. Goku blocks, goes for a kick. Vegeta dodges, backs away. Goku follows him through. Vegeta with an elbow to the face. He draws first. I hate when I get calls in the middle of my fucking stream and it's a fucking solicitor. It's always a fucking solicitor. Yeah. Fuck. So Vegeta goes in with a big fucking elbow. He draws first blood by elbowing Goku first. He gets the first hit. Tries to get behind him. Goku sees it. Tries to kick him. Goku dodges. Goku taking Vegeta. Vegeta dodges. They're dodging each other. What's wrong, Kakarot? You can do better than that, can't you? Vegeta with the kick to the stomach. You're giving a lot more than this when you defeated Nappa. So Vegeta already knows that he's not 100% into it. He's testing it. He's like, let me see it. He's like, all right. He's not even taking this fight seriously. So, yes, Vegeta is stronger than Goku without Kaio-ken. I mean, there's no argument there.
No.
His speed and technique are already superior to mine. And then he's like, all right, let's do it. This panel right here, it just legendary. This is one of the pioneer box art. It's been used in wall scrolls. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and something that people don't. And something that people don't realize about why Vegeta is so good technique-wise is that Vegeta didn't just get a high power level from being a part of a warrior race. Due to the fact that he is the descendant of higher level warriors, he is naturally more talented in combat as well in terms of technique and things of that nature as well. Because he comes from, a species that ingrains those types of experiences into their muscle memory and into their actual DNA. So the fact that he comes from a higher class of warrior also makes him just an overall better fighter. Like, he was literally born a better fighter. Like, he just was.
Goku goes into Kaio-ken and he actually fires a telekinetic blast at Vegeta. Vegeta dodges, though, and then Goku follows him, and he's able to now match speed with him, connecting with his first blow. That's Goku's first blow on Vegeta with a right hook to the face and kicks him away. And now he's following through while Vegeta, still not a pussy, comes back with a kick to his face.
So this is what I was talking about, I think last episode or maybe the episode before that, with the difference between Goku versus Vegeta and Goku versus Raditz. Goku literally.
Okay, you're getting disconnected.
Goku literally right here says,
I took the battery out of the phone.
That he's starting to get excited fighting Vegeta. He did not say that against Raditz. He literally said, like, I'm scared for my life against Raditz. Like, whereas here he's like, I'm actually starting to get kind of excited in fighting this guy. And that's like one of the big defining differences between the two fights, is the fact that Goku actually does get excited fighting Vegeta. And it's because Vegeta is like entertaining him in the sense that, like, Vegeta's allowing him to test his skills and vice versa. And that's part of the reason that Goku can, be graced with being, excited against Vegeta, is the fact that Vegeta is essentially entertaining him, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how even with the Kaio-ken, Vegeta's still not just gonna roll over like he did with Nappa. Like Nappa. I mean, Nappa didn't purposely roll over, but it just shows the difference between Vegeta and Nappa, that there's just a different level. Chapter 229, A Fateful Super Decisive Battle. That's a great title. That's very Japanese. And of course, the cover art is something cute, but Toriyama always balances those two. And here it says Vegeta's strength far surpasses Goku, even with the double Kaio-ken, with Goku using double his power. You know, and Vegeta's like, oh, he's smiling. Has he stopped caring, or is he raising his power level? But it says right here, Goku doesn't know why his excitement grows as he's driven deeper into a corner, but the battle-hungry Saiyan blood flows through his veins as well. And that's when Goku, this is the beginning of Goku slowly, very, very slowly, not the beginning, but the beginning of us seeing him tapping into his bloodline.
Well, we sort of saw
like tapping into.
Yeah, we sort of saw him do it against King Piccolo. It's just he wasn't a Saiyan at that time. He was a demon.
No, I know, but that's why I said, as far as us as the audience, it's being told to us.
Yeah, he's basically taken the demon themes from Goku versus King Piccolo, and he's translating it into like a scientific, like biological thing where Saiyan nature is being replaced. It's replacing demonic nature. Like he's switching up the terms. But it's really, really interesting because a lot of people don't understand this, but like you were talking about how genius Kaio-ken was as a concept. It's not just genius in terms of like, you know, a battle mechanic for a manga. It's genius because it shows that Toriyama had a real life understanding of Taoist internal alchemy. If he did not understand what Taoist internal alchemy was, he would not understand that adrenaline makes your life force more powerful and makes you stronger and like builds into your life energy and actually increases it. Like he would not have an understanding of that if he didn't actually study and learn to what actually chi actually is. And you got to give Toriyama credit there. Like Toriyama doesn't give himself enough credit in that sense. Like he does have a very deep understanding of those concepts that even most of the fandom doesn't. They just think this is stuff that like he made up, you know?
Yep. And I think the reason why they think that he made it up is because a lot of people's first exposure to, and this is not a bad thing, but it's understandable. Because Dragon Ball Z was so popular, it was a lot of people's first exposure to anything anime or anything Japanese like this. It's not quite like Pokemon and not quite like Sailor Moon, even though those two have some aspects of this. The reality is Toriyama's not the first guy to ever use Journey to the West in storytelling, but he did it in such a way, right place, right time, right artist, right combination of things that it became synonymous with Dragon Ball, even though it wasn't synonymous with Dragon Ball. And then of course there were other manga that came after Dragon Ball. I would say that the difference is that Dragon Ball was the biggest, maybe not the first ever, but the biggest manga / series, anime, whatever, that blew up first. So it was a lot of people's first exposure to this type of shit. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a great point.
Because if you watch stuff like Japanese, if you watch, and this is something I discovered after Dragon Ball as well. If you watch Japanese Power Rangers, Super Sentai, there's a ton of mythology in that. You know, Jew Ranger's all about gods and dinosaurs and demons and the devil and all that shit. A lot of like Chinese stuff and Die Ranger. We watched that, both of those in the Discord at one time. There was just a lot. Like there was a lot. And those came out before those. Well, no, they were actually around the same time. But there was stuff that came out before too. It's just that Toriyama found a way to.
Kung Fu movies had been talking about it forever, you know. So yeah.
Right. But Dragon Ball was animated, and so you have a whole new audience. There really weren't American cartoons that did it that much. Even like Ninja Turtles had some legitimate ninjutsu shit in it, but it wasn't quite like Dragon Ball where it's like really cultural.
Yeah.
So Vegeta's like, now I'm going to show you the real power of a Saiyan Elite, and he starts to power up. And this is Vegeta's first power up. Vegeta's first power up in the series, and his first power up in front of Goku in this fight.
It's
Goku
very
doesn't
different
even.
than almost any power up we see in the series because he literally like changes the weather. I think the only other person that's like even kind of comparable is maybe like Goku when he becomes a Super Saiyan God, and like they have that like thing where it becomes day and night over and over and over again, and like all this weather, like the seasons change and all that wild stuff. Do you remember that? And
Yeah,
then
well,
like
also Super Saiyan 3, like the whole Earth was shaking there too, and he was in the sky.
yeah, it's just like here the clouds are coming in, there's lightning coming out of the clouds, like he's literally changing the scenery with his transformation, which is awesome.
Yeah, this is a great. This is a great power up. This is a great power up here. Vegeta, and then Goku. It feels like a hurricane, and then Vegeta. This was in the old Curtis Hoffman manga translations. They called it Erito, which is elite. That's not in the manga anywhere, but it's like maybe his power up, like not quite Kaio-ken, but like sort of, you know, he's powering up to match Kaio-ken. So now he says it's over, Kakarot. Now he's been powered up, tapped into his ki, headbutts Goku, elbows Goku. Goku can't do a fucking thing. This is again the blueprint for this was Goku versus Piccolo, but this is just the same formula to a whole new level. Down he goes. Vegeta gets behind him. Goku cannot match with him at all at this point. He's moving fast. Vegeta goes for a ki blast. Kaio-ken ×2. Goku is able to narrowly avoid the ki blast. Here he once again narrowly avoids it, rips off Goku's clothing, and he's like, "Oh, you can dodge. That's good, but you can't. You probably can't take this. Not even in ×2. Kaio can keep up with this with him." And then he's like, "I'm gonna have to go to Kaio-ken 3," which of course Kaio-sama is like, "That's impossible. You shouldn't do that." And it's like Goku's like, "But I have no choice." Kaio-ken, double Kaio-ken. Kaio-ken ×2 will not hurt Vegeta. He's too good.
Yep, he's got too much power.
He's too strong. He's too fast. And then he's like, "I made this easy for you. It wouldn't be fun if you died this early." So even Vegeta's over here not really trying to kill him. And
I like Goku's Super Saiyan shaped hair in that panel. I think it's awesome.
Yep. The wind, bro. And here we have Yajirobe's appearance watching the fight, who would become a player in the fight, you know, in the coming weeks, coming chapters. Chapter 230, the dangerous threefold Kaio-ken, the triple Kaio-ken. Goku's like, "I don't know how long my body can hold out, but I got to do this." And again, Goku's always the one pushing it to the limit. And yes, the art is beautiful in each and every panel. Toriyama, I don't think ever missed in the entire manga when you really think about it. There's obviously some pieces of art that are better than others, and with these big fights, you see a lot of great ones, and here we go. And Vegeta's like, "Yeah, I'm way above you," but then Goku's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go for Kaio-ken ×3," and right here, there we go. He's like, "This is a bad idea. This is hopeless." He starts to power up. And now we actually cut back to Bulma, and her scouter breaks all the way on the other side of the planet because of Goku's power up, because he's going way beyond the limits. This is where steam comes out of his body in the anime, and we see it a little bit here in the manga. You see like the clouds and all this air coming out of there's the wind, like it's just far beyond what we've ever seen from Goku. His eye is sparkly right there. He now is using Kaio-ken 3, which actually I love how Toriyama keeps the background dark here to really pop out the white and the red, even though in the manga it was black and white. He kept the background dark instead of just showing the sky to really make it pop.
So
and then here's the big punch. Go ahead.
Goku looks angry there, and I'm sure he is kind of distraught. But
I think he's trying to like control his body.
One thing that I love about the Kaio-ken and how it works in conjunction with Goku is that when Goku's heart's beating, his nature as a Saiyan comes out. And the Kaio-ken works in conjunction with it. It trades a heartbeat for chi. So Kaio-ken, in that sense, is like a way for Goku to like force his more aggressive nature to come out as well. In that sense, it's not just a technique that boosts his chi; it also makes him overall more aggressive as a person, which Toriyama will play on later on with Super Saiyan 2.
Yes, and then yes, everything you said, no argument there. I also love the red eyes. That's something that was hard to spot in the anime. Some of the panels don't. Some of the anime shots don't even have it. It's in the guidebooks. It's in the some of the. I have some very detailed art pieces that were in the Daizenshus where you see Goku with the red eyes, but it's not often pointed out that yeah, his whole body is immersed in Kaio-ken right now. Now he starts to beat the shit out of Vegeta. Double kick from the bottom. Vegeta's trying to get around it. Goku tries to go in, quickly gets behind Vegeta. Vegeta still sees him though, because Vegeta's not no bitch either, bro. Fires a key blast at Goku. Goku goes all the way around and hits him with a kick into a mountain. Then Vegeta is now starting to get irritated. Again, what a great fight, bro. This is one of the best fights in the entire manga. Vegeta powers up. This might have been the best fight up until this point outside of Goku versus Piccolo, but I always like the anime, the 23rd tournament, but I always like the anime version of that more.
Yeah.
But this is great panel-wise. Vegeta's basically like up against the ropes. Goku's hitting him, but he's up against the ropes like in boxing, just trying to survive here. As Goku is just pummeling him with big shots. He can't even connect a single shot on Goku, bro, with this Kaio-ken ×3. Goku with his infamous uppercuts. We see him always bust these out. Can't wait to see him bust one out in Daima. I love that panel right there. Vegeta is in extreme pain because, as you know, getting hit to the body hurts a lot more than getting hit to the face. Getting hit to the chin can knock you out, but getting hit to the body will hurt for days, bro. People be pissing blood and shit. That's why that kick that John Jones hit Stipe with on Saturday was hard. Go for it.
This is the first time that Vegeta is ever sent into fight or flight. This is the first time like he's ever like his body is telling him that his life is in danger in his entire life. Like he's never experienced this before. And what's interesting is that is what exaggerates your nature as a Saiyan in a lot of cases. So it's making Vegeta worse than what he already was to begin with, because like this is the first time. But the thing is, what's very interesting about this is later on, whenever after him and Goku fight a bit longer, he relies on the Great Ape as a survival mechanism. So like it's almost like they're essentially pointing out
he's
like,
giving Great Ape is like his Kaio-ken.
Yeah, it's his survival mechanism, but it's much more magical themed and biological themed than Goku stuff. Goku is just chi themed, and the only reason that the Great Ape has any magical roots at all is because magic in most cases is considered external energy, and what they have to do to become a Great Ape is absorb external energy. So the Great Ape form in that sense is like a counter. It's like it's literally designed as a concept to be the opposite of what Goku is using against Vegeta in this scenario. Vegeta is using like a biological self-defense mechanism, and Goku is using spiritual cultivation or chi or martial arts, which is it's very well done.
Yes, and we'll I'm sure we'll discuss magic in the future as well. Daima's all over it. So and now so at this point Goku is out of breath, but he hit him with a fury of punches, and Vegeta's can't even take it. His power level is exceeded my own. He's in complete shock. The Kaio-ken, man, the Kaio-ken. NPT says Chori to Saiyajin. Yes, Vegeta's my favorite. Yeah, he's this was a fun time without question for the character of Vegeta. Justin says Goku turning the tide on Vegeta like this was cool. That's it. And then of course Vegeta would turn on him, and that's Dragon Ball. And we are done with this volume. So at this point, Vegeta is in a lot of pain, and Goku himself says, this guy is tough. If I can't find a way to end this quickly, I'm in a lot of trouble because Goku's body's about to fall apart. And that's going to be bad.
This is the beginning of Vegeta's inevitable ego death. And we'll talk about this more in the next episode. But the thing I love about this part, the way this fight ends, is it is literally like it is at the very end of it, Goku and Vegeta are both humbled. Like that's what I love about it.
Everybody is. Even Krillin was too. I mean, Krillin was a humble guy, but everyone's near death.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I love that too, because the story arc and the battle ends with these guys straight up just being like, we barely survived that.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. So what a great volume, bro. Just some of the most epic moments in the entire series. A really fitting one for us to cover today on the anniversary of Dragon Ball 40 years ago. I don't know how we're going to cover it in 10 years, if I'm even still going to be on YouTube by then. Maybe I'll come back in 10 years and do like a stream or something,
Yeah,
even
we'll
if
do an
I'm
anniversary
retired by
stream.
then. Huh?
Yeah, we'll do an anniversary stream. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we'll do
My
that.
hair
We'll
will
see what
probably
they're
be
going to do.
completely silver by then. It's already turning silver right now.
My hair might be completely silver, bro. It's not there yet, though. I'm
You won't have
blessed
old
enough to have.
in 10 years, buddy.
Yeah, I'll be 50 in 10 years, bro. I don't think I'll be covering Dragon Ball at 50, but I sure as shit will still be a fan because I will be a fan of this story until I'm dead. It's just something that sticks with you. It's no different than how our parents and our grandparents loved Casablanca and seeing Star Wars in theaters or, anything, bro. Literature, like great. I think Dragon Ball is literature. I think
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
it's
is.
definitely tapped into that universal golden ratio of media that's like that will be loved and appreciated forever. That's for sure.
Volume 40 is young. You'll live longer, get the majority. We will, but it doesn't mean we're not going to go gray. It'll happen eventually. And I'm blessed because I'm 40. I know guys that are 31 that already have grays, and I don't have any grays, bro. I don't have any grays. People think I'm bald. I'm not bald. You can see my hair right there. I do have a big ass forehead, though. I've always had that, though. I have an 8 head. Not a 4 head, an 8 head, bro. Double the head. Anyways, man.
MJ Edwards, go watch our Sayuki videos, bro. I talk about Ultra Instinct being like Nirvana like so many times in that series. Please go watch our Dragon Ball X Sayuki series.
MJ Edward is a guy who you're a guy based on this comment alone who I think would fit into the videos Jordan and I have done about this type of shit, not just about UI, but everything else. Because Jordan does kind of dig into Journey to the West, and then I sort of try to kind of bring it all together and kind of make it easy. My goal is to take what Jordan is saying and kind of make it easily digestible for the audience because not everybody's read Journey to the West, but if you go back to the Super Magic show a few weeks ago, Jordan and I did a Super Magic show. In the pinned comment, there's a link to a Journey to the West comic that everyone should read, especially if you like this shit. If you like this chapter right here and this type of shit, it's very well done. And it's the best way to read Journey to the West without having to read fucking 4 thick ass books this big that'll take you forever.
Yeah.
So
anyway, thank you guys. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you guys in the next.
We'll be back next week probably. We'll see what happens. I think Thanksgiving is the week after. No, it is next week. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on because a couple Thanksgiving. I remember how shit was around Thanksgiving at your house, bro. We'll see what happens next week. We may come back. We'll let you know. Keep an eye on notifications. And watch my video from last night, the creation of Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. Go watch Danny's video. And I'm coming out with a video tomorrow. Watch it. Support everybody. Support everybody's channels.
Take care. See you.